Hello and welcome back to another online course about the basic hardware components of the computer system. I'm Miguel Balagapo.
I'm Malia.
I'm Stephen.
And together, we will enlighten you. For this lesson, it will be divided into 3 topics. Let us first tackle the computer system. But what exactly is a computer system? A computer system is often incorporated to both hardware and software components. It can be programming or simply physical hardware repair, and many more. For this lesson, primarily, we will be focusing on the hardware components, starting with the processing devices. When we say processing devices, these are the circuitry in the system unit, meaning this is where all the processes and calculation happen. Kumbaga ito yung pag-interpret ng mga commands para magawa or ma-carry out yung mga task. Una, ang motherboard. Ito ang nagsisilbing bahay ng mga computer components tulad ng mga memory at ang central processing unit or CPU. Ito rin ay nakatulong upang magsabay ang mga process at magkaroon ng connection or communication between each component. Next, ang central processing unit or CPU. Ito naman ang nagmamanipulate ng input data at nagsisilbing brain of the system unit. Ito ang core ng mga system unit. Para siyang prinsipe dahil meron itong heatsink at meron din itong fan upang hindi uminit dahil very crucial at very important ang CPU. At ang CPU ay may 2 leading brands. Ito ang AMD at ang Intel. Ang next ay memory or random access memory, also known as RAM. One key to understanding RAM is that it is a volatile memory, meaning nagre-require ito ng electrical current upang ma-store ang data. Kaya naman kapag pinatay mo ang isang computer, all data are erased. Kumbaga, RAM ang rason kung bakit tayo nakakapagbukas ng mga applications at nakakapag-multitask at the same time. Next ay chips. Ito naman mostly made up ang mga computers. Meron itong mga microscopic pathways na kung saan dumadaan ng mga electrical currents at dito rin dumadaloy ang mga data. Moving on sa storage devices. Dito naman sinistore yung mga information, data at programs permanently, may it be system software or application. Starting off with SSD, isa siyang non-volatile memory na kung saan kahit walang power or energy, kaya niya mag-store ng data. In addition, ang SSD ay mas mabilis kaysa sa hard disk drive. Para ma-compare nyo, ito ang example. Next, ang HDD or ang hard disk drive. Isa rin itong non-volatile memory na kung saan kahit patayin mo, nakastore pa rin ang kanyang memory. Ito naman yung common na storage device sa mga computers na mayroong disk sa loob na umiikot upang mag-read or mag-write ng data. Next, ang flash drive. Ito naman yung portable na storage device na non-volatile memory din na at the same time maliit lang siya kaya pwede mo siyang dalhin kahit saan. At meron din itong Universal Serial Bus or USB connector. Ang last ay CD or compact disc. Ang kaya niya lang i-hold na memory ay 700 megabytes na binabasa through optical drives. Kaya lang sa modern world, hindi na siya masyado ginagamit. Ngayon, dito naman tayo sa input devices. Dito naman, it allows the users to communicate at makipag-interact sa mga computers by entering data or commands. Keyboard, isa siyang primary input device na kung saan meron itong mga letters at numbers upang makapag-enter ng mga characters sa computers. Mouse, another primary input device na kung saan inaalaw yung mga users na makapag-navigate at makipag-interact sa monitor output. Scanner, from the word itself ay nagsascan siya ng mga documents at tinatransmit niya into digital form. Webcam, webcam are cameras that allows the users to transmit video or broadcast a video. Joystick, used in video games aside sa keyboard at sa mouse at para mas maging immersive pa yung mga experience sa mga players. Lastly, output devices. This allows us to see what is being processed that can easily be comprehended by people. Kumbaga, nasisimplify niya. Kapag nag-type ka ng letter A, usually sa computer, in binary yon, which is in 0 and 1. Pero syempre, dahil nakakapagod ka pa sa doing yon, nasisimplify ito ng computer. So, ang lumalabas sa output tulad ng monitor ay letter A. Printer. From the word itself, it prints. Yung mga digitized na documents ay pwede niyang gawing hard copy, like physical copies na tangible. Monitor. Ito yung primary display output ng isang unit. Tulad ngayon, yung video na inedit namin ay pinapanood nyo na ngayon sa mga monitor screen nyo. Speakers, ito naman yung nagsisilbing sound system or audio output. Kaya nyo ako naririnig ngayon dahil meron kayong audio output. Either meron kayong speakers, or headphones, or earphones. Now, iilan lang yung mga examples na binigay ko sa mga devices. Pero at least, meron na kayong idea kung ano ang input, output, storage, at processing devices. Okay, tapos na tayo sa topic 1. Congrats! Moving on na sa topic 2 na i-discuss ni Stephen.
Good day, everybody. So today I'm going to be continuing the discussion, and my topic for today is going to be the system unit. So, what is the system unit? The system unit is the overall structure that houses all electric components to process data, where all input and output devices are connected into the system unit, and this is housed by what is known as the system case or the computer case that holds and protects the components. So we have this computer case which contains the framework to support and enclose internal components, helps to prevent damage from static electricity, also called the computer chassis, cabinet, tower, box, and housing, and the size and layout of a case is called the form factor. So basically, dito daw nilalagay yung mga lahat ng components, yung mga motherboard, mga fans, hard drive, whatever. And then next, there are types of cases, which is the tower, full, mid, and mini, and then we also have the desktop, which is standard and slimline. Next naman ay yung power supply, serve as the source for the electricity to the computer, and then attached are vital hardware cables and buses for transferring power to various components. So alam naman natin na yung power supply yung nagbibigay ng power or ng source ng electricity sa lahat ng components sa ating computer. So doon yun nakuha yung name na power supply. So ito yung mga power supply basic connectors. Iisa-isayin ko tayo discuss. So let's go. First ay ang 24 main power pin connector. This is the standard motherboard power connector used in nearly every computer. Ito yung makikita nating madaming yung mahaba na rectangle na puro pins. Then ito yung provide ng power galing sa power supply. And then next we have the SATA 15 power supply connector. This is one of the several standard peripheral power connectors, and it only connects to SATA drives like hard drives and optical drives. Next ay Molex 4-pin power supply connector. This is the standard peripheral power connector. This can connect to many different kinds of internal peripherals such as hard drives, optical drives, video cards, and some other devices. Next ay ang floppy 4-pin power supply connector. This is the standard floppy drive power connector, also known as the Berg connector or mini Molex connector, included in even the newest power supplies kahit na yung mga floppy drive ay hindi na siya ginagamit sa mga latest na mga PCs natin. And then next we have the ATX 4-pin power supply connector. This is the standard motherboard power connector. Ito yung kasama ng 24-pin power supply connector na nagsusupply ng power sa motherboard natin. Used to provide plus 12 VDC to the processor voltage regulator. Usually attached to the motherboard near the CPU. Ito yung makikita natin sa usually sa kaliwa ng ating CPU. And then next we have the ATX 6-pin power supply connector. Basically same lang siya dun sa ATX 4-pin connector, pero ito naman 6-pin siya. Next we have the motherboard, also known as the main board, system board, logic board, or the MOBO, short for motherboard. This holds and allows communication between the crucial components of the computer such as the CPU and memory. So basically, dito daw lahat tumatakbo yung mga trabaho ng CPU, ng memory, and ng lahat ng components na ilalagay mo sa motherboard. And then, here are the components attached to the motherboard. We have the chip, the bus, integrated circuit, and the microprocessor. First with the chip, the small conducting material where ICs or the integrated circuits are embedded. Makikita natin, ayan yung example sa screen, and then we have the bus, the electrical pad that enables data flow. So yung bus daw, dun daw dumadaan yung mga data, yun makikita natin to sa likod ng motherboard. Ayun daw yung mga bus. And then next, we have the integrated circuit, which contains microscopic pathways that carry electrical current. And next ay ang microprocessor, which is the central processing unit on a chip. Next, the varieties of chip packages. First, we have the dual inline package, has two parallel rows that attach the chip to the circuit board. When next, we have the pin grid array, holds a larger number of pins mounted on the package. The next we have the flip chip PGA package. Places the chip on the opposite sides of the pins. And lastly we have the single edge contact cartridge. These does not use pins but connects to one of the edges of the motherboard. Nakita natin na medyo pahaba-haba siya and mga straight line siya, ganun. Then next we have the form factors of motherboards, kung ano yung itsura, mga different types ng motherboards. So first we have the AT or the Advanced Technology. Next ay ang ATX, Advanced Technology Extended. Next ay Mini ATX, smaller footprint of ATX. Then we have the Micro ATX, smaller footprint of ATX. The LPX, Low Profile Extended. Then we have the NLX or the New Low Profile Extended. And then lastly we have the BTX, the Balanced Technology Extended. And then next we have the North Bridge and the South Bridge. So ang function ng North Bridge ay primarily a fast path between the CPU and the video bus and system RAM. And then yung South Bridge naman, this connects with the slow hardware or components of the system. Next we have the Central Processing Unit or yung CPU. This is the brain of the computer. This interprets and carries out the basic instructions to operate the computer, and this impacts overall computing power and manages most of the computer operation. So basically, alam naman natin lahat na sa kanya nanggagaling lahat ng inuutos niya sa iba-ibang components. Siya yung nag-interpret and siya yung nag-carry out ng mga instruction sa iba-ibang components para gawin nila ito, and then makita natin sa screen yung gusto natin makita. Next, we have the multi-core processors. Merong two types nito, and yung first ay ang dual-core processor, which is a chip that contains two separate processors. The next, we have the quad-core processor, wherein there's a chip with 4 separate processors. Then, ito yung two main companies na nagbebenta ng microprocessor, yung AMD and then yung Intel. The next, bundled along with the processors are the heatsink, which consists of metal fins that draw heat away from a component. So makikita natin itong nasa ilalim ng fan. And then next yung processor cooler, a fan, and a heatsink together. So pretty much itong buong to ay yung processor cooler. And then normally lalagyan natin to ng thermal paste bago natin ito i-mount sa taas ng ating CPU. Then next ay ang RAM or yung random access memory. So this acts as temporary storage as long as the computer is running. So siya basically nagsustorage ng mga files na kapag binuksan mo lang yung computer mo. And then kapag sinara mo na or shutdown mo na yung computer mo, may erase na rin siya. Then so chips placed directly on the motherboard. And then consists of switches which are triggered by changes in electric current. Next ay ang 3 basic types of RAM. First ay ang dynamic RAM or ang DRAM. So this needs to be recharged by the CPU, if not, it loses content. Next ay ang synchronous DRAM or an SDRAM. So this is pretty much faster than the DRAM and is synchronized to the system clock. Next ay ang double data rate or DDR SDRAM, faster than the SDRAM. So basically, yung i-discuss ko na next na mga RAMs ay pabilis lang ng pabilis. So this transfers data twice for each clock cycle. Next ay ang DDR2 and DDR3 SDRAM. And ang latest ngayon ay ang DDR4. So this is basically faster than the DDR SDRAM. So ang ambos DRAM or ang RDRAM ay faster than the DDR SDRAM that uses pipelining techniques. Ang next step ng RAM ay ang static RAM or ang SRAM. This is faster and more reliable than any form of DRAM. Does not need to be re-energized or recharged, but this is more expensive and more may specific use siya. And the last type of RAM is the magnetoresistive RAM or the MRAM. This stores data using magnetic charges and has greater storage capacity. This consumes less power and faster access times. The next ay ang memory module. These are small circuit boards where RAM chips are housed. First ay ang single inline memory module. This has pins on opposite sides of the CB or the circuit board, which connects and forms a single set of contacts. Then this also houses SDRAM chips along with DIMMs or dual inline memory modules. Next ay ang dual inline memory module. Pins on the opposite sides of the circuit board do not connect and form two sets of contacts. This houses SDRAM chips along with SIMMs or yung single inline memory modules. Next ay yung Rambus inline memory module, which houses RDRAM chips. Then next, we have the cooling technologies. So this is essential in avoiding the computer from overheating, obviously. Then this is also essential in maintaining a good and the well-ventilated system. So first ay ang fans, present in the power supply, ports, processor, hard disk, and etc. So lahat ng components natin ay pretty much kinakailangan ng fan dahil ang mga components natin ay nagre-release ng heat. So ibig sabihin, kapag hindi natin to nalagyan ng fan or kapag hindi naalis yung heat, obviously mag-overheat to and hindi na siya mag-function. Next ay ang heatsink na nabanggit ko na kanina, which absorbs and distributes heat produced by electrical components. Lastly ay ang heat pipe, which is used on smaller devices like notebook computers since this is smaller in size. And so pretty much ito daw yung ginagamit sa mga laptops natin, and ayun naman yung you can see on the screen. Kapag binuksan mo yung laptop mo, ayan yung makikita mo. So next ay ang expansion cards, also called adapter cards. So this is a circuit board that provides more ports than those provided by the motherboard. So ang example ng expansion cards ay ang video card, sound card, and marami pang iba. So basically, ayan nga, nagpro-provide siya ng iba pang ports and nakakadagdag rin siya sa graphics. Depende sa type ng expansion card. And that is it for my discussion. I'm going to pass the lesson to Aliyah Pasqua, which will be discussing the ports, sockets, slots, and connectors. Thank you for listening.
So, ang last naman na topic is about ports, sockets, slots, and connectors. Unahin na natin dito yung ports. So, alam naman natin na pag sinabing ports, isa siyang specialized outlet kung saan dito pinaplug yung mga cable ng peripheral devices. And usually, makikita to sa side ng motherboard. Dito kinakabit yung mga cables ng monitor, ng webcam, ng speakers, and iba pang peripheral devices. So, merong matatagpuan iba't ibang type ng ports sa mga PC natin. Unahin na natin dito yung VGA port. Ang ibig sabihin ay Video Graphics Array. So, from the word itself, video, ginagamit itong port na to para makapag-display ng video output sa monitor screen natin. Kaso, ang nag-transmit lang niya na signal is analog lang. So, ibig sabihin nito, ang kaya lang niya i-display na resolution is mababa lang. And 15-pin connector din siya. Next naman is S-Video port. Nakakapag-transmit siya ng medium quality analog signals between devices and it can also transmit standard definition quality ng mga images but it does not send audio. Next naman is DVI port, and ang ibig sabihin nito is Digital Visual Interface. Katulad lang ito ng VGA kasi ginagamit ito para makapag-display ng video output sa mga monitor screen natin, pero ang pinagkaiba lang nila is yung DVI mas nakakapag-display siya ng sharper and better output ng mga video kasi nag-carry siya ng both digital and analog signals. Next naman is HDMI port. Ang ibig sabihin nito is High Definition Multimedia Interface. So from the word itself, high definition, may kakayahan siya para makapag-transmit ng high quality and high bandwidth of streams ng video and audio between devices. Parang ito na yung pumalit sa mga VGA and DVI ports. Next naman is DisplayPort. So kung ikukumpara mo naman yung HDMI at DisplayPort, wala naman sila masyadong pinagkaiba kasi parehas sila nag-carry ng high-speed digital interface. Pero ang isang DisplayPort, ginagamit siya kadalasan sa mga computer and peripheral video connections, katulad na lang ng pag-display ng mga video output sa mga computer monitor screen natin, and it can also carry audio, USB, and other forms of data. And it was also used to replace VGA and DVI ports. Next naman is Thunderbolt. Wala naman siyang pinagkaiba sa function ng DisplayPort kasi parehas sila nakakapag-display ng video output sa mga monitor natin. Pero itong hardware interface na to, dinevelop naman to ni Intel, and it allows high-speed connection for peripheral devices such as hard drives, video capture solutions, and it can also send high definition of video and audio signals. Next naman is audio ports. Itong port naman na to, hindi ko na siya kailangan masyadong i-explain kasi basically itong mga ports na to, dito lang sinasaksak yung microphones, yung headphones or yung earphones para marinig natin yung sounds, and then yung line feed. Next naman is S or PDIF port, and it stands for Sony or Philips Digital Interface. Itong interface naman na to, nagkikarry siya ng compressed digital audio for surround sound, and it is commonly used in home theater. USB port or Universal Serial Bus port. Itong port na to, ito yung pinaka-common na computer port na matatagpuan sa mga PC natin kasi pwede kang magsaksak ng iba't ibang devices dito sa port na to. Katulad na lang ng keyboards, printers, scanners, mouse, game controllers, and syempre yung flash drive na lagi natin ginagamit, and madami pang ibang devices. Firewire port, it is used for high-speed multimedia devices, and it is often used for connecting external hard drives and digital camcorder that benefits high transfer rate. Next is external SATA port. Yung port na to, dito sinasaksak yung mga external hard disk drive natin. PS2 port, dito sinasaksak yung keyboard at mouse natin. So sa violet, dito sinasaksak yung keyboard, while sa green naman, dito sinasaksak yung mouse. Lastly, serial ports. Itong port na to, matatagpuan siya sa mga older versions na ng mga computers. Ayan, tapos ko na i-discuss sa inyo yung ports. Dumako naman tayo sa slots. So, pag sa slots naman, yung main purpose niya is para makapag-add ng capability sa mga computers natin. And yung most commonly used na expansion slot na matatagpuan sa mga motherboards is yung PCI Express expansion slot. So, merong iba't ibang type ng mga computer expansion slots. Unahin na natin dito yung ISA slot or yung Industry Standard Architecture expansion slot. Under nito, yung video card, sound card, and yung LAN card.
PCI slot is a type of bus used in PCs for adding expansion cards.
Next naman is PCI slot or Peripheral Component Interconnect expansion slot. Under nito yung parallel card, LAN card, and audio card.
PCI is the most common way to attach add-on controller cards and other devices to a computer motherboard. This type of connector originated in the early 1990s and is still in use today. Next is PCIe, or Peripheral Component Interconnect Express. It is an interface standard for connecting high-speed components. Every desktop PC motherboard has a number of PCIe slots you can use to add GPUs, aka video cards or graphic cards. Next is Communication and Network Riser. CNR is a specification that supports audio, modem, USB and LAN interfaces of core logic chipsets. And pwede ka mag-insert dito ng sound card and LAN card kasi kaya nito supportahan yung mga card. Next is Audio Modem Riser. The Audio Modem Riser is designed as an easy and inexpensive way to incorporate special sound cards and modems into a system.
Next is Single Inline Memory Module slot. Isa siyang type ng memory module kung saan nagko-contain siya ng RAM used in computers from early 1980s to late 1990s. Lastly is yung Dual Inline Memory Module slot. Simulan niya palitan yung Single Inline Memory slot kasi mas nakakapag-offer siya ng high data flow and give more options sa mga user kasi meron siyang DDR1 to DDR4. Kaya kung mas mataas yung bibilin mo, mas maganda yung ibibigay niya sa'yo na mga features or options, mas mabilis siya. Ganun.
The following are the most common sockets found in the motherboard. The CPU socket where the CPU itself is inserted, and the CMOS slot where the CMOS battery that is replaced after it has worn out.
Ngayon, dumako naman tayo sa connectors na makikita natin sa mga motherboard. Unahin na natin dito yung 20 or 24 pins ATX power connector. So, ang main purpose niya is kaya merong ganito kasi nagkikarry siya ng necessary voltages and signals na nanggagaling sa power supply para i-feed niya ito sa motherboard and other peripherals na nakakonect sa motherboard mismo. Next naman is yung 4 pins 12 volts ATX power connector kung saan ang main purpose nito is to power the voltage regulator kung saan nagsusupply din siya ng power sa CPU or yung Central Processing Unit. Next naman is yung 8 pins 12 volts auxiliary power connector. Same lang din siya ng function katulad ng yung sa 4 pins 12 volts ATX power connector. Nagsusupply lang silang dalawa ng power. So, ilan lang yun sa mga nabanggit ko ng mga power supply connectors. Meron pang ibang klase ng power supply connector. So, ang main purpose ito is nag-a-allow siya na mag-pass through yung electrical current para makapag-provide ng power sa isang specific na device. Next naman is yung IDE connector or yung Integrated Electronic Device kung saan under nito yung floppy disk drive and then yung PATA cable. Next naman is yung IDE to PATA connector. Under nito yung optical disk drive, hard disk drive, and PATA cable.
IDE is an acronym for Integrated Drive Electronics. It is a standard type of connection for storage devices in a computer. Generally, IDE refers to the types of cables and ports used to connect some hard drives and optical drives to each other into the motherboard.
Next naman is yung SATA connector. So, syempre, under nito yung SATA cable, optical disk drive, HDD, tsaka yung SSD.
Front panel header is where the connectors of hard disk drive activity lights, base speaker, reset button, power on or off button, computer power on light, and key lock are connected to make them function smoothly. While audio connectors are used for audio frequencies, they can be analog or digital. Here are other connectors found in the motherboard.
At doon na nga po nagtatapos yung video namin tatlo about sa Unit 2, Lesson 2 ng Basic Hardware Components of Computer Systems. Lahat po ng information na nabanggit namin sa video ay nagmula sa TESDA online program. At yung site nila ay mahanap sa link na to. Yun lang at maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. Bye!